You are not enough. This is what your mind is saying to you about 90% of the time. We are constantly comparing our lives to other people's. The things that are actually awesome about our lives, like the little things, like having a nice warm shower or the smell of coffee or a real good, authentic, deep conversation with a good friend, this stuff is considered mediocre. The influencers that we see bombarded all over our smartphones and our screens, the ones that are making, 7 figures a year, they're in front of rented private jets, they've got a sexy ass model girlfriend, a shredded six pack. It's like we've been conditioned out of enjoying our lives and we've been conditioned into just constantly seeking the next thing. In the West at least, it seems like we're going through a mass collective psychosis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, do a bit of research into mass delusions and mass psychoses. Like that dancing plague back in the day where a load of people just started dancing randomly and it became like a contagious dancing plague. Read about that, it will scare the shit out of you. But we're all on this hamster wheel, always struggling, searching and striving, but never arriving. My question is, what is it that we're looking for? And why is it that whenever we seem to achieve something, that satisfaction doesn't last for very long? Well, in this video, I'm going to attempt to answer that question and help bring a little bit of sanity and perspective to your life so that you can actually hopefully feel good about your life instead of this constant feeling of inadequacy. And if this video helps you, then do click that like icon because it really does help me grow my channel. So why do most of us have this feeling of lack in our lives? That we are not enough, that our lives are not enough. I don't want to oversimplify this problem because humans have been talking about this for thousands of years. Even the Stoics talked about this exact issue. But as I see it, there are a few potential reasons for this. Now, the first reason, really simple, is that it seems to be just a natural part of the brain's wiring to constantly be looking for the next thing, to constantly be fantasizing about what could be rather than sitting with and allowing what is. This isn't my reason. This is according to the Science of Wellbeing course from Laurie Santos. The second reason why we feel like a sense of lack in our lives, that our lives are not enough, is that our mind is conditioned over thousands and thousands of years to assess where we are in the hierarchy of the tribe. Okay, this is one of the things that's very important to our ancestors. We couldn't survive alone. We could only survive in tribes, okay? And if our mind started to assess that we are not providing enough value to the tribe, we might get kicked out, that was a genuine threat to our survival, okay? So we're constantly assessing, do I add value to the tribe, okay? Now this system kind of worked quite well when the tribe was like 50 strong or 100 strong. If we were a pretty good hunter, odds are we had a better chance of being the best hunter in the tribe, right? We could be quite high up in the hierarchy in that little niche. The problem though, is that the internet, with all its amazing stuff, has also introduced the fact that our tribe is now billions strong. So no matter how good of a hunter you are, you can just go online and find someone who's better than you at pretty much anything. Now, this creates a misperception in our minds, where our mind assesses that our status is actually under attack and under threat. We're going to get kicked out of the tribe. It's a misperception of reality because our brain is like 100,000 years old still. And the truth is, you're probably doing a lot better than you think. It's just the internet that convinces you otherwise. So these are two pretty good reasons, right? But they don't explain everything, do they? It doesn't explain why some people are more affected by this than others. Some people can do this kind of social comparison thing and not feel bad about themselves. Some people are not inspired by a feeling of lack and I'm not enough. They're inspired by creativity, love, and the desire to express themselves. So why is that? Why are some people affected by this and not others? Now this is where the third reason comes in. And this is what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the video. And here is the reason in a nutshell. You feel a sense of lack and not enough because there's a part of you, a part of your mind that is still unconsciously seeking the validation, love and acceptance that you didn't get when you were younger. Some people don't feel that sense of lack because they got that love and acceptance when they were younger. Some people had healthy upbringings, their emotions were validated, their experience was validated. But a lot of us experienced emotional neglect. Our needs were not met. A lot of us experience this kind of lack within because of that emotional neglect. Let me explain something. When we're born, we come into this world unconditionally loving, accepting of ourselves and the world at large. But children are egocentric creatures and they're very, very needy. Now at some point, even in the best childhoods, our parents will at some point not meet a certain need. And because as children, we are egocentric creatures, the world revolves around us because we haven't developed a greater model of the world yet. We misperceive and create a story that because this need wasn't met, because mummy wasn't there, because daddy didn't pay attention to me or whatever, this must mean something about me. And that story is the thing that creates and enforces this feeling of lack, this feeling of what you might call shame, toxic shame, this thought that you are not enough and you're broken in some way. We stop loving ourselves unconditionally and we start criticizing the part of us that we deem to be not enough. And then the pursuit begins to fix this broken part of us, even though none of us is really broken, but we perceived it that way. So we start creating a life and get busy trying to fix ourselves when we're not broken to begin with. But if you are constantly distracted and you will never turn and face and actually integrate and love that part of you, it doesn't last. None of the approval from outside of you will last. But the only approval that will last, the only love that really will last, is the love that comes from yourself towards that wounded part of you. And you will never experience that until you drop the fucking pursuit and turn towards it, turn towards your pain in a loving, centered and grounded way and start doing the work on yourself. What work is that? Shadow work. That's the way. Stop trying to fix yourself and do shadow work instead. If you want to know how to do that, click this video next because I get into the nitty-gritty, the real practical stuff. If you're just a beginner in this and you're not quite sure how to do it, click this video next because it will answer the question for you. I appreciate you, mate. As always, this has been Oliver and I will see you next week. Peace.